Welcome to Error Archive, a sanctuary for introspection and growth where we confront the ghosts of our past missteps with courage and humility. I'm Nolan Westerman, your companion on this journey of self-discovery. Join me as we navigate the depths of regret, resilience, and redemption, shedding light on the profound lessons that lie within our darkest moments. I'm here with Gerardo Bravo. Heard you had a very interesting story about what's going on with the recent events politically.
I'm here currently living in beautiful Austin, Texas.
Oh.
And things have been going to be quite crazy. Here I go to the University of Texas at Austin, and there's currently been quite a bit of trouble involving the current situation, the current conflict in Israel, Palestine, Gaza.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
So there's been multiple groups here on campus, such as the Palestine Solidarity Committee. Various other groups come over to protest over time. And as you may have heard, over in Columbia University, there's been some recent protests, an ongoing occupation protest encampment. And it's currently a situation. Last Wednesday, April 24th, a group of protesters from the PSC group decided to come on to be able to protest. Specifically, they were targeting University of Texas Austin's group, company called UTIMCO. It's a group that they use to invest in one of the things that they invest in is manufacturing military weapons. And some of these weapons have been used in the current conflict in Gaza. And this caused much backlash, a lot of controversy within these type of groups that are pro-Palestine. That day on Wednesday, I woke up and I saw a notification on my phone. And I simply said, protester activity down whatever street. It's a street that I used to get to class.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw all this happening and I just thought, oh, whatever. We've had this kind of stuff before and nothing bad has happened. I set off to class and I see like practically everything but the military there. I see state troopers. I see policemen on horses, on motorcycles, and they're all just chanting, move, move.
No
move.
way. Was there like a fat crowd?
Yeah, there was like a massive crowd of protesters. And they were all right in front of my building, so I really couldn't ignore it. So I ended up eventually being able to go through some bushes, go through trees.
No way, you had to climb a tree to get to class?
I had to climb through some bushes and get myself all dirty and full of leaves. I ended up doing that. I really couldn't ignore it since it's not every day you see a bunch of
That's true.
knights on horses herding a bunch of people with signs.
Yeah, it's a historical event.
So that's been happening, and I later found out that they managed to herd this group of protesters right in front of the iconic UT Tower, right on the front lawn. Apparently, there's been a lot of activity on this lawn to this day. There ended up being a big conflict. They ended up calling in state troopers. They ended up calling in the DPS. They called in a whole bunch of law enforcement, different officers, and that's ended up being probably one of the most notable events here on our university, especially since they don't usually call this much. But I suspect that because of everything that's been going on in Columbia, they decided to be on hyper alert. That happened. There ended up being about 50 people arrested, last I heard. But The most important thing is that nobody ended up getting injured that day.
That day? So there's more?
Yes. There had been various things, various people protesting what happened on Wednesday. And today, which is April 29th, 2024, I would have to say this probably surpassed that day, the amount of activity that happened. So a different group, not the PSC, I haven't been able to get their names yet, but I know it's some various political group that's been going on ever since the PSC was suspended. So they decided to set up an encampment. They pulled up with these tents. They set up tents on the front lawn. And that's to be probably what ended up setting off a very large police response. I suspect because I've heard that originally, the first event on Wednesday, they had a permit to protest. This group didn't. They just came up.
They just started protesting?
Yeah. And to be fair, I know that UT is like public property. It's owned by the Texas government. Theoretically, they should be able to, but there's still some controversy. They ended up sending these massive emails to everybody saying for anybody that's on the South Mall, anybody that's on the lawn, you all have to leave right now or else we will arrest you.
Ooh.
There ended up being a big standoff of a good, probably like a classroom size group of people. Various people who are both students and non-students. It's a bit of a mixed group between people who are students, people who are not students. And this has been getting a lot of social media attention. This has gotten the attention of Texas Governor Greg Abbott. He's been sending out various statements saying that he intends to arrest these people if they do not desist.
Yeah, it's getting serious.
Yeah, currently to this moment, they've been still camped out right there. Currently, right now, the law enforcement side, they've been setting up in the UT Tower to plan their next move. And this ended up getting a lot of notable attention, which is why I say this is worse, because they started using pepper spray, which they hadn't used on Wednesday. On Wednesday, they hadn't used any kind of pepper spray or anything.
Did you get any in your eyes?
No, I didn't. I was thankfully away by the time they started doing that.
Okay.
But I did manage to pass through and get a last glance while I was heading to a final exam that happened to be nearby.
Oh, it's true. It's during finals.
Yeah, it's during the finals.
Wow.
And so far things are calm right now, but it's understandably a bit tense. Especially since what they said was past 10, you have to leave. And right now it's past 10 and they still haven't left. They've been just sitting there, just discussing, staying awake. Because I imagine that if they were to fall asleep, that's when law enforcement would come out to be able to arrest them.
Yeah, they're going to jump them.
Imagine that when they're going to do something, it will probably end up being during the middle of the night so that they have like the least crowd showing up to like turn this whole thing into a big spectacle so that they can just arrest everybody and get them out.
So you think they won't be there by tomorrow? That
I'm still thinking because I think I'm honestly really troubled on whether they are. Either they're going to be arrested like this night at like 4 a.m. or something, or they're still going to be out there tomorrow and things are going to get even bigger and it's going to become even more of a media circus.
Man, it just sounds like it's escalating.
Yeah, things have been escalating like way worse. Like today was way more of a spectacle compared to Wednesday.
Well, I mean, this is your last week, right? You only need to worry about these last finals and then you'll be out of there.
Yeah, I only got 2 more and then I'll be able to head out and whatever they end up doing, they can go live out on the lawn if they want.
Yeah, you're like facing the war for just 2 more tests. That's all you need. Your final day.
Just 1 more week and I finally get to be sent home.
Yeah, maybe it'll calm down by then.
Yeah, I'd like to be optimistic. But still, at least I got to say that I'm on a Wikipedia historic event.
That's true. I saw like your clips recording. Those are going to be looked at in the future.
Yeah. So for any news agencies, I'm here for my expert testimony.
I grabbed you first for the interview.
Yeah, you can say that. You got me before CNN, Fox News.
Yeah, I know they were about to call.
ABC. Who needs them when we have the Nolan Westerman podcast?
Yes, exactly. All right, well, that sounds like a very interesting story. A lot of mistakes are being made over there currently.
Oh, yes, there's definitely been quite a lot to be made. I would say that this is probably not the ideal outcome. I would say there's definitely been some mistakes made.
Yeah, why can't we follow MLK? He had the right idea when it came to protest. Look how far we got from them.
Yeah, man. I would say that I'm not really sure if there really be a good outcome from this, really. Like, all they're doing really is they're setting up camp on the lawn. And whether you think what they're protesting is good or bad, whether it's an honorable cause, all this is doing is really creating just a media circus we can point out to say these people are breaking the law. That's
true. It's making both sides look bad.
Yeah, and understandably, it's also making law enforcement look bad. I know a lot of people, like in law enforcement, probably don't want to have to be here at night, having to fight off these like college kid protesters.
Yeah.
Like up at 4 a.m. at night, having to deal how they're going to deal with all these kids.
Yeah, like it's like a 9 to 5.
They're both tired. It's 9 to 5, but when you're in law enforcement, you don't really get to end at 5.
Some life lessons can be learned.
Yeah, definitely a lot of life lessons. Both with the police response, how people said about protesting. There's a lot of mistakes to be made, a lot of lessons that can be learned from this.
Yes, not to do it. Well, this definitely will never happen again because we'll learn from this.
Yeah.
No more
protests.
Sure this will
never happen again. This is a one-time event.
Exactly. It's probably the last time.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be no more protests ever in history ever again.
Well, I want to thank you again for coming on, telling us your story.
Of course, and thank you for bringing me on to the prestigious Nolan Westerman podcast.
It's actually called The Air Factor, but that's okay.